Walking down this road tonight, talking about the things we fight. Addiction knocking at my door. TNT wants so much more. We walk the walk, talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, together we'll move along. Searching for a brighter day, holding tight along the way. Sobriety's decline, DNT winning every time. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, TNT bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, TNT bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, TNT bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, TNT bringing all of you along.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm fabulous. How was your weekend?
It was good. Steve came home on Saturday from Texas. He went to Texas for Team Rubicon. For those of you out there that are not familiar with Team Rubicon, it is a national and actually technically international organization for dealing with national disasters, natural disasters. And the reason I said national disasters or natural disasters, because some could be a national event type of a disaster and some can be natural disasters. But anyway, he responded to the Hurricane Beryl to Texas, and it was kind of important for him because his family's also there. His mom's there, our kids are there. So responding to where our family is, and it hit directly where our daughter and son-in-law are, and luckily they were fine, and they were okay, but it hit right near where they were. So, and his mom was without power for several days, and his son out without power for several days. So yeah, it was a bit. So he felt really needed to go there for that, but also he volunteers almost every time there's a disaster, no matter where it's at.
That's great to hear. It's always nice to be able to give back. It's very rewarding.
Yeah. He really enjoys it too. He's a sawyer. So for those of you that don't know what a sawyer is, those are the people that cut down trees. And he's also a heavy equipment operator for them. So he goes in and cleans areas, and he's part of the route clearance team. So he goes in and cleans the route or helps make it where law enforcement or emergency services can even get in there, which is quite impressive because that means they're in there before anyone else. They usually have a medical team and a law enforcement of some sort with their route clearance team to help them know where the next emergency location is that they need to clear, and make sure that they have emergency personnel in there handling what's going on there. So that's what he was doing for the week. He left on the same day you did, which was actually quite convenient in a way, because he went at the same time you did, a day wise. His flight was at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and your flight wasn't until 12:30 or something like that. So we dropped him off at the airport in Nashville because Team Rubicon gets their flights donated. So they fly wherever the flight is that's donated. So his flight was out of Nashville, and of course you flew out of Nashville too. So we drove to Nashville and dropped him off, and then we went to the Grand Ole Opry and drove around in circles looking for a guitar. That's a story. You know, we haven't really done a rehash. Maybe that's what we should do right now. Is
Funny.
do like a little rehash of your trip out here. We haven't really done a on camera, rehash of you coming out here and what we did and how things went and your trip and all that. So why don't we talk about that?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to both you and Steve and to Mom for allowing me to come into your home. It was very, very. It was an awesome time. It was the furthest east I've ever been. I've been to Texas, but I've never been that far to the east.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of? I know we didn't get a chance to go out a lot, but what did you think of the area?
I loved it.
Yeah, it really is quite pretty here.
It's as I said to you before, everything is so lush and green. I didn't see any dirt.
No, you have to dig to find that.
The roads are grass and trees and bushes and flowers. And I didn't really have very much interaction with the public. I only went to the store once because I forgot deodorant and mascara. But the attitude of the people that were in the store, they were just so kind. It was very southern. I have no complaints, and I can't wait to come back.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how I was going to like it here when I first came out here. I've told you this story, but when I first came out here, Steve was only on a 6-month, what they call a developmental leadership development, and from Reno, where we lived, and it was only supposed to be 6 months, and he came out. And he's like, they're telling me to put in for jobs out here. What do you think? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like I was in Alabama when I went to my A school after I got done with my boot camp or basic training in the Army. I always call it boot camp because my kids are Marines, my husband's a Marines, and my brother's a Marine. So, it was basic training for Army. But I went there to Fort Rucker, and I was training so much. I honestly don't remember how bad the humidity was or wasn't. I remember it was miserable in some ways, but I mean, training is usually miserable. So, I don't know how bad it was. So I was a little, like not sure how I was going to like it. And we made the decision that I should come and just check it out before he actually accepts a job or puts in for a job. And, we can't take it back once we have the job. So I came out for 2 weeks and I stayed for 2 months. So I fell in love with the place. The people were so kind and so nice and so sweet and so helpful. Yeah, they have their bad people too. We had a shitty contractor that did some work for us, but
Bad.
but at the same time, the few things we had to fix from what he didn't cost that much, and we were able to fix it ourselves because we could have done the work ourselves. We just didn't have the time because we were out in California at my son's boot camp. So, but what we ended up paying the person for all 3 jobs he did probably would have only covered for one of the jobs if we had paid a different person. So, you get your catch on that. So, yeah, but we fell in love with it too. We absolutely did.
I was actually taken back and shocked and pissed off about the price of gas. It cost $41 to fill your tank. To what, 65 a gallon.
Yeah. How much would it cost in where you live? Double that?
It's an average of 5.
Yeah, so double that. Pretty much. Like,
yeah, and I do a lot of driving for my job.
A small car should not cost $80 to fill up.
Shoot. Well, I used to have cars with big gas tanks. And I think about 150 at one point when the gas got to be $6.
That's ridiculous. That is
it is. And we used to have a boat.
Yeah.
So filling up the boat was expensive too.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And that the cost of living out there in all aspects, the property tax, and it's why they have people leaving by the droves. Did you hear that Elon Musk just announced to California that he's relocating all of his stuff to Texas?
No, I actually kind of added to media. I was on duty over the weekend, so I watched Flippy and kids videos.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Elon said, that's it. I'm done. I'm moving out of I'm taking my business and taking it to Texas. And that's what they're doing to all their business.
People from California go to Idaho, Arizona, and Texas.
Well, and we have a lot of transplants from California out here too. The new sticker that people are putting on the back window of their trucks and cars is the state of California, and then it says California or Cali. I think it says Cali bail, meaning they bailed out of Cali.
They bailed.
And it's
if I transplanted there, I don't think I'd want that to be. That would be a mark.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on my vehicle.
Nothing says, "Hey, I'm from California."
Well, I know in Nevada, I used to have a sticker on the back of my work truck that said, "I don't care how you did it in California," because we were getting a lot of transplants to Nevada, but then they were bringing their same mindset with them, like they would come. From California because they were hating it in California, but then they were coming to Nevada and saying, well, this is how we do it in California. And we're like, we don't care how you did it in California. That's why you left. Hello, that's why you left. Hello. But I don't know. I mean, the state of things is making people rethink a lot of stuff right now. So since you have been out of the media, you don't know that Biden has dropped out.
I did see that part.
Yeah,
I saw a meme on Facebook that says when Sleepy Joe wakes up, he's gonna get pissed off. He heard he quit.
yeah, exactly. you know, every day they have to go, "You're the president. You're the president. Now let's change your diaper."
What?
He's like, Kamala's president? Yes, sir. You know what I don't understand about that is if he's not fit to run for office since he already was running and he already did the primaries, if he's not fit to run for president and do the next, why is he fit to be president right now? Like, I mean, they said he can't, he works between 11 and 4. So don't have a disaster or anything before 11. Sorry, it's 10 o'clock. We can't wake up the president yet and talk about this problem we're having. I mean, like,
busy playing in that oval room.
He sits at the desk going, I'm the president. And there's Jill in the background going, you're such a good boy, Joe.
Joey.
Oh, Joey, quit playing president and get out of my seat.
Your seat? That was the commode.
I thought that was the body because I just went. Joey needs changing.
Oh my goodness.
You know, it's a sad state of affairs when the jokes we're cracking right now are probably pretty accurate. Oh, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is. Hey, you want to know a little bit of useless Trump trivia?
Sure.
Being that we're both from Tahoe, I was on the Nevada side. And when The Apprentice first came out, the very first season, one of my classmates was one of the contestants.
Oh, really?
Christy Frank. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I forgot how long she lasted for, but she was on the season with Omarosa. Omarosa was on the first one.
Yeah, she was on the first one.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's pretty interesting. Has she ever talked much about it?
When the just grab 'em by the pussy comment came out, and I think she made a comment about being made uncomfortable in a couple of the scenes. It was so long ago though. I don't want to misquote her or anything like that. I was actually thinking about looking up, see if the first season is airing anywhere, because that first season, the whole entire concept of the show was completely different. The people who won the task got to stay in the house, and the people who didn't slept outside.
Right. Well, I mean that is how any show starts. How you originally start is not necessarily where it goes or where it stays.
Right. Just like Survivor.
Yeah, just like all the different shows. And the thing is what bothers me the most about these reality shows, because we have experience with America's Got Talent too. We took our son to America's Got Talent, and
my daughter tried out.
It was really good. They actually wanted them to be on the show. They went as doing a competition rifle spinning, and he wore his dad's dress blues, and then his buddy Andrew wore his army uniform, and they wanted them to do the performance, but they wanted a few more. So we were trying to recruit some other rifle spinners, and a lot of the parents are like, "Yeah, you're not going to be on a TV show." So they didn't believe it. For one, for two, Andrew had to drop out because he was going off to the Army. So he's like, I can't continue to compete. So they weren't going to do it with just Sam. So, but it was a cool experience when we went, and it's quite a funny story in a way. So we went to San Francisco for the audition, and of course the boys.
Wait, hold on. Because my daughter was a contestant as well, and we were in Santa Clara. So when you say San Francisco, do you mean out this way?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean it was
Francisco?
in San Francisco, like downtown in San Francisco. Yeah. No, it was actually physically in San Francisco.
Okay.
But the boys were in uniform and they had weapons. I mean, granted, they're inert weapons, but they were still weapons. So we had to go through security to have those secured. And only when they were practicing could they have them. And so when we went through the security, for whatever reason, so Steve's mom and Steve's aunt, because they live in Castro Valley at the time, so she came to hang out with us and got to be there, and the boys, and we get through security and they give us the wristbands, and the guy accidentally gave Steve and I the security wristbands that mean you work with security. So every time we went through somewhere, they're like, "Oh yeah, go on." They thought we were escorting them. So we went in. We did get them a room so that they could practice. Now you know me and my personality, right? So I took that band for all that it was worth.
It was like the Black American Express card. It just let you go anywhere.
It did. So I was walking by a table and I saw a clipboard just sitting there, so I snatched it up. And it had a couple pieces of paper. Yep, that's my biggest problem. I snatched it up, had a pen, and it had all the rooms and audition rooms and stuff. So I started walking around. In fact, at one point in time, I went in the bathroom to go to the bathroom, and I had to set my clipboard down to wash my hands. And one of them goes, "Oh, hey, do you know where such and such is?" And I just gave him an answer. Like, yeah, you just go down here and go over there. And so I started literally going into audition rooms. And I'm just like walking in, acting like I'm signing off some stuff, and they're like, "Hey, asking me questions," and I'd give them a bullshit answer, and then move on to the next space. And I was walking around like I owned the place, and Steve's like, "What? You're gonna get us kicked out of here?" I'm like, "Nah, I won't get us kicked out of here. I mean, they think I'm security." So that goes to show you how tight security can be sometimes. Like that was, if I was wanting to do harm, like imagine how stupid that was. That they're just like, "Yeah, here you go." I mean, luckily I had no ill will and I wasn't out to cause harm to anybody. But I mean, I always think about security in that aspect, like do your job right. Luckily I just wanted to
get a paycheck.
Yeah, I just wanted to be nosy. Yeah, I should have waited till debriefing so that they could be like, "Who are you?" and just get put on the payroll.
Yeah. Well, my daughter, she's a cellist, an amazing cellist at that, and also sings. And when she got selected to try out for the show, it was an all-day process.
Yeah, it was a long day.
Santa Clara. I could have sworn we were there for at least 12 hours. And it was disappointing though. I mean, she sang. She didn't play. But what we noticed, they were more interested in selecting groups of people rather than just an individual.
Yep.
And the crazier the groups were,
The more they wanted them.
They were interested in them. Yeah. And I felt that her talent wasn't taken serious.
Right.
Because they wanted the knuckleheads that were juggling dogs and cats.
Well, and they wanted the idiots too, so that they had people to boo off. But once you've seen behind the curtain, it makes the show not quite so.
Right. And none of the judges were there. So
Right. Because you're only seeing producers. You're not actually seeing the judges until you get selected. Same thing for Sam. Sam was an amazing rifle spinner. And he could have done an amazing show. And he could have brought more people on as he was performing and just let him start with just him. But they wanted a group. Same thing. They wanted a group of people. And so we were there on, I don't know if you ever watched the episode where Howie Mandel came in with the jetpack, and he flew in with a jetpack into the crowd and into the audience.
It sounds like a Howard Stern move.
Yeah, and well, not Howard Stern, Howie Mandel. But
I know, but Howard Stern does.
Oh yeah, they both do. So. We were there. We were in the crowd, and they have people out there telling you what to do. Okay, you're going to scream and you're going to yell and you're going to be like, Howie, and it wasn't even Howie. We knew it wasn't Howie, but we were supposed to pretend it was Howie, and so it was a professional that flew in with his jetpack, and then later they got Howie to just do it and then act like he was walking in. So when they did the actual show, it looked like Howie flew in, but we all knew it wasn't Howie. And then, it was disappointing because it was an all-day thing. It was a long day of performing, and he got to perform several times. And they liked him, and it wasn't until they were like, can you get more people? And they should have just gone with him and said, can you add more people as you get better? As you go along. Like if you get through if you get voted in the first time, can you bring more? And I guarantee you he could have gotten more, because other people would have been like, oh, that's cool. Now that he's actually on the show, believe that he was going to be on the show. Because there are a lot of parents out there that are like, they're not going to be on TV. And commit their kid to doing it.
They did have camera crews there because they do behind the scenes for tryout, but we never got aired.
Yeah, we never got aired.
Rather.
Yeah, we never got aired either because he didn't make it to the actual auditions. And that's what's so funny when you're watching them on actual America's Got Talent in front of the judges, and they're like, oh, this is the first time I've ever performed in my life. You're like, liar, because you had to perform for all the different producers that you went through to get to perform in front of the actual judges. So we know that that's not true, because we've seen behind the curtain. And that's what many people talk about when they have dealt with or been on or been part of these reality shows, that there's no reality to it. It's all scripted. It's all planned. So when you see certain people go through, you already know, like, I have predicted the winner almost every year. Mm-hmm. And that's because I see how much footage they have of them from the beginning. And I'm like, they're following everything that one's doing. Their family, their trip out, all this stuff. That's who they want to win.
Highlight more of the background of their story.
Yep.
Just like American Idol, the same way.
Well, and just like it's gone from winning based on your talent to winning based on how sad your story is. Oh, I do hear that echo.
Oh. Okay.
I wonder if
Welcome to the
it's
party then.
There's been two of us here the whole time.
there's only 2 of us, and I hear 4. Who are those other 2 people talking behind? Are they talking shit? You know, like we've said a couple of times in the Grinch. You're an idiot. I'm an idiot. You're an idiot.
Speaking of talking shit, I have a story to share.
Okay.
This involves my ex.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm in the self-storage industry, and in this industry, it's very close knit. I work with a lot of other property managers, district managers, area managers, and I'm echoing. So it sounds like I'm tripling my words. Anyway, it's a close knit community. And I got a text from someone that I used to work with, and said, "Holy shit, your ex is here." And I said, "Sorry, you're breathing the same air as him. What's going on?" And well, turns out the property that she manages is being bought by the company that he works for.
Oh, wow.
So he and a couple other representatives went to go visit her property. And I have to say what she told me that he said. I had two different reactions. One, I rolled my eyes, and another one was disappointment.
Yeah. What did he say?
Well, we haven't been together. Well, let me backtrack. We were together for 28 years. And we haven't been together since November 2019. But obviously there's some anger and bitterness and issues on moving forward. Because he chose to air his personal dirty laundry with this friend of mine who manages the property,
which is extremely unprofessional.
Very unprofessional. Which goes to show that his lack of maturity and the inability to move on.
I was going to say he certainly hasn't moved forward, because you don't run around looking for people to talk to about him.
Correct. And I will never say anything negative or bad about him. He is the love of my life. He brought me two amazing children, which led to my three beautiful grandchildren. So I don't have any reason to say negative things about him. But to hear that he still talks about me in an environment that should have been professional.
Right.
Really shows his true character.
Right.
And that's pretty sad.
It is pretty sad.
The things that he had told her, either it was some of the truth that was exaggerated and lies. And I've learned through my therapy that the more you try to defend yourself, the crazier you may look. So there's nothing I need to defend. I know what the truth is. And I'm sorry. It's so hard to concentrate with this echo.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I don't know how to get rid of the echo, because I don't know where it's coming from. Do you have anything else playing our stuff?
No. Everything is turned off. Yeah. So hopefully it doesn't play back this bad.
I hear it a little bit, but it's like in the background.
Yeah.
And it's delayed, so it does make it like you're hearing it well afterwards.
I know. I'm just worried about the viewers.
It's very, very quiet. The echo is very quiet. It might be a little distracting to some people, but it's not that bad. We'll get it all figured out here shortly. The next thing we're working on is lighting, camera, and audio for you, because right now you're on your phone, and that's part of the problem. It always is.
Well, I've narrowed it down. I tried the computer, I tried the iPad, and now my phone.
Yeah. Well, at least your audio is not so cracky.
Pigeon signals next.
Yeah. At least it's not so bad that we're only getting every fourth word. I mean, at least we got that part. Now we have all your words twice. But the echo is really cool. Yeah, exactly. But the echo is pretty quiet in the background. But it's sad that people have to do that. It brings me to think about our friend Coco that we have been dealing with, and what she's been going through. When we do hear things about her or what's going on, we hear the same thing. She's saying all these horrible things. And I look at it and I go, like, one, I don't respond. I don't give any merit to it, but it still hurts because of the fact that I know it's bullshit. And it's like, is that what she really thinks? Now, yours is sober, correct? Or is he sober?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Your ex is sober?
I would have no idea.
Okay, so you don't know if any substance is a part of his life or not.
I know about the past, but I can't. I would be speculating about now.
Right.
Now, and I can't do that.
Well, and with our friend, we know she's not. I mean, she recently, I recently moved to New York, right?
That's what I heard. I probably had about four people ask me if it was true, and
no, it's not. But okay. But again, she's also a widow, and that's not true either. So yeah, there's a lot of things that aren't true. So when I hear the negative things that she is saying about you, and it's mostly about you and I, which is ironic. I'm not going to say what type of cars. But one of her newest little things that she did is ran out, and she did this to slap us in the face. Look what I can do and you can't. I mean, she's on drugs. She's running through all her money. She's going broke and lost her job. So I'm not sure how she's going to pay for it all. So I'm not really jealous, because I would not be jealous of somebody that's going to get it repossessed anyway. But she ran out and bought not one, but two cars at the same time from the same brand new cars from the dealership. And ironically, it wasn't until afterwards that we were talking about it. And I'm like, you do know that one is the type that I told her to buy. And you're like, oh, well, I told her to buy the other one. And so she bought the two cars that we had suggested to her to get. Now, we weren't suggesting her to get two different cars. You just had an idea for one, and I had an idea for a different one. Mine was 4-wheel drive. Yours was a car. So,
convertible.
Yeah, convertible. A convertible, not just a car, but a convertible. And mine was a 4-wheel drive. And that's because I knew she would be going back and forth in the mountains, and she doesn't like to drive very much, but I wanted to make sure she had 4-wheel drive if she had to drive in the snow or any of that. And, everybody else was like, I don't get why she bought two cars. And I said, Donna, I know why she bought two cars. And you're like, why? And I said, because she bought the one you wanted for her, and she bought the one I wanted for her. And it was a slap in our faces of, look what I bought. and you guys can't. That's the way I took it.
You know what? I don't take it as a slap in the face. You know what? Because I have two cars that are paid for.
Well, as I said before, I'm not jealous.
Driver's license.
Yeah, I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous in any way, shape, or form because she's going to get them repossessed because she can't afford to pay for them. She's not going to be able to pay the notes that she has on them. She's gotten delinquent and everything. So I'm not jealous at all. So the slap in the face was in her own mind because it didn't affect us either way. We didn't go like, oh, I'm so jealous. I wish I had. I didn't have that feeling at all.
The problem with somebody who has an addiction.
Yeah.
You make poor choices. You partake in risky behavior.
And quick choices too. She's not going to sit and think about it.
No.
Yeah.
No. And an addict doesn't like to be told they're an addict. And the more her bullshit is called out on, the deeper she's falling into her addiction.
Yeah. It very correct.
That's why she has chosen to disengage with us because we tell her what we see, and she doesn't want to hear that.
No. And she only still talks to the people who will placate her and pretend they pretend with her like they're like Jill does with Biden. You know, they pretend that everything is wonderful and you're doing so good. I mean, if I hear the word Coco, I said her name. Oops, sorry. If I hear she's doing good one more time, I'm gonna have a conniption fit.
Well, maybe she's doing good at something like art.
Okay,
I have a masterpiece behind my second bedroom door.
Let me clarify. By art, do you mean playing with hair dye or collecting trash? Or rocks? Which of the three is the art part of that? Because she likes to do the finger painting with the hair dye. She also collects rocks, and a really good collecting rock is a piece of concrete that has a rock stuck in it. That's really important.
I saved it for her. She said it was important.
I mean, and we're laughing about it because this is how we deal with our friend. Is we crack jokes and we laugh about it because it's really not funny, but I can't deal with it without finding the humor in it somehow because it's so sad. And watching what she's doing from the sidelines, it's like, I mean, but at the same time, I'm still her cheerleader. Like I still want, I wait for that. I hope for that day that we get that call that says she checked herself in. And, if only she could have just sung the national anthem, that could have caused her to check herself in. Did you get the reference there?
No, I didn't.
Ingrid Andress sang the national anthem, and it was like the worst rendition of the national anthem in the history of sports.
I thought Roseanne Barr was the worst.
Nope.
One.
She just took the trophy from Roseanne, and the next day. The next day she said, I was drunk and it was not my best and I'm checking myself into a rehab. So that was why I said, if only she sang the national anthem, then she'd check herself in the next day.
Going to happen. It's wishful thinking, though.
Well, I think we are always going to have the wishful thinking in our back of our minds, but we also are. out of most of the people that are in her life, we're probably the two closest to her. So we are also the two that are the most, what's the word for it? Vocal about the facts and not playing when we don't play games with her. We're not going to pretend everything is
we're
well.
not the yes people.
Yeah. She needs to be surrounded by yes people. And I've never seen someone go through so many homeless people themselves. I mean, she started making homeless people her best buddies, like her besties. And they were like, bitch, you're fucked. And they were sending her packing. And it's like, how do you go through homeless people like they're water? And I'm thinking to myself, how did we stick around for this long when homeless people are like, I've had you in my life for a week and it's a bit too much. The one girl was like a month. They were best of buddies for a month. They were, I guess they were going to move into their tent together. For a month, and then that dissolved and that went to shit, and it's like
everything's fine.
But yeah, everything's fine.
Fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
You know, I mean, like, how did we stick around for 40 and 50 years when these people saw through her in a week? Or a month. I know I look at myself and I go, it's because I placated an awful lot through the years.
It honestly my whole entire relationship with her has me confused now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because we've had that discussion where we've looked back at, oh, you know what? I've been yesing her my whole life. And it wasn't until her addiction got so bad that, I couldn't do it anymore. You know, I mean, I had a discussion with her. This was when the last presidential election was running. And I think it was just before they were actually going to start the run, not when the election happened. So 2019 or something like that, around that time, I think it was the year before. And she calls me up in the middle of the night, and almost every time the phone would ring in the middle of the night and I'd get out of bed and leave the room, he'd ask, is that so-and-so? Yep, that is. So I'd leave the room, go in the living room, and he gets up to go to work and he's like, are you still on the phone? I'm like, yeah. And I have it on speaker, and he starts looking at me and he's listening and he's looking and he goes, like, she's cuckoo. And she's telling me her whole plan to become president.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's going to run. She's going to be president. She's going to do all this and that. I'm like, nobody knows who you are. I told her, I said, okay, if you know, I worked in politics. I was a journalist. I was asked to be a PR, public relations, for Harry Reid, the former Speaker of the House. So I have a good background, and I'm like, you could run, but you need like $40 million to get started. No, don't worry about the money. I'll get the money. Okay. You need to have a platform. You need to have what you're going to run on. And you're a woman and you're big in business, you know, and you have, I'm like, you technically could, but this is what you would have to do. And this is what you need to, okay, you lay it all out and I'll get it all done and I'll get the money. And I got off the phone and I said, she's not running for president. There's no way. And Steve's like, you've got to be kidding. She thinks she's going to run for president. And I'm like, yeah, it'll be something totally different the next time she calls. And I don't think I ever heard another word from her about running for president again. You know, but she was probably drunk. And she hates the one that's running. So, and she hated that he was running then. So her idea to, instead of going and voting against him, was to go run and be president herself.
Sounds like Kanye took a page out of her book.
Yeah, right.
They'd be two peas in a pod.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, how many votes did he get?
K's.
The two Ks. KK. Coco and Coco. Coco and Cuckoo.
What side?
Well, you know, I mean, they had to start with naming their kid North. They should have just kept going with that whole thing. You know, because his name is West, Northwest, Southwest, East, West. You know, I mean, they should have just named them all the different directions because they're all going in different directions.
Yeah, they are.
But, you know, I mean, there's a lot of crazy things that go on when you're dealing with somebody with an addiction. And, you know, at first, I think everybody falls into the yes place. I think at the beginning, everyone does. I don't think anyone just automatically goes, oh, this person's crazy and this person's on drugs or alcohol, or nobody does. Everybody looks at it like, okay. And then the more it happens, they're like, oh, this person's nuts. And it just depends on how long people last.
What we're going through with her affects me in so many ways because she's crawling into the same hole that I crawled out of.
Right. And she's crawling into it on purpose. Well, I mean, we know addiction is not necessarily on purpose. Nobody says, I want to grow up and become an addict.
Right,
you know, when you're in school and they're like, what do you want to do? I want to be a fireman. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an actor. I want to be an addict. That never happens, you know, so nobody wants to do that. They get into a lifestyle and a cycle of addiction, and it starts small and it grows and grows and grows. And generally nobody really says much until it's already to the point of out of view anymore. Like you saw, it was in view, and once it goes out of view and it's so far gone that it's really hard to rescue that person from that behavior, because what they still see,
she doesn't want to be rescued.
No, and they see this. I don't have a problem. And everyone else sees this. You do have a problem, but they are still like, I'm in control.
This is why I struggle so hard with my detachment from her. I have to let her go so she can find her way.
Right.
I can't find her for her.
No.
Just like the people who loved me, that tried to save me, that tried to move mountains.
Right.
It didn't work until I wanted it.
Right. Well, and both of us have made that decision that, you know, in fact, when we have communication with her, like she sent it to us, we don't respond to her anymore. We just respond to each other instead, because some things are very hurtful and they make me very angry, and I want to say something back to her, but I know that's what she's looking for. She's looking for a feed. She needs some reaction. She needs attention. And
in an addict's world, they thrive off of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Because without a chemical in the body, life is boring.
Right.
If only she could understand the happiness that she feels when she drinks is 10 times happier when you're sober.
Right. Well, and we're not even sure if we're pretty sure that she started other substances, but we have no definitive on that. Like we've had no drug tests, we've had no actual blood tests or anything to confirm it, but behaviors and reactions and things, appearance, and even the eyes in pictures that we've seen, her eye dilation says that she's on more than alcohol. And that's easy to do when you are an addict. And if the wrong people are around you, which she was surrounding herself with homeless people that were down in the tracks doing a lot of bad stuff.
They hit the jackpot when she showed up to their camp.
Oh yeah, because she's got money, and she was not unwilling to show it, and I mean. She's done some pretty crazy things with some of these people. And you're like, well, they're going to take advantage of that. And so they're going to yes her to death right now to get whatever they can from her. That's what I see. I don't know about you.
Well, from what I understand, she was also had things stolen from her as well.
No, yeah. I mean, she stole from our friends, which... which makes no sense, but it does in a way because her stealing from people is not like other addicts that steal to pay for their addiction. I think she steals as a thrill. I think she just can't not take things. If it's an opportunity. And it's one of those things where when we were talking earlier about looking back, she's always done that. It's not been necessarily anything big, but she's always been like, I'm taking this, and she just gets the kick out of,
it's I think this sense of entitlement that she may have.
She has a high sense of entitlement. Yeah. Everything belongs to me and should belong to me. And if I want it, I have every right to take it or have it. It's very sad. And for those of you out there that might be going through the same thing and watching what your family members are doing or your friends or whatever, know that it's okay to step back. Know that it's okay to step away for your own sanity, your own peace. Give yourself grace. And they say it all the time, grace and space or space and grace. But know that it's okay to give yourself that grace and to give yourself that space. If what they're doing is starting to affect your life, and, I personally think that I stepped away way too late. I should have stepped away a long time ago. Or I should have stepped up a long time ago and called her out. And then I would have stepped away. But I, like so many other people in her life, just... Okay, yeah, that sounds great. Hang up the phone. That's not happening. But I should have said it when it was happening. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, what you're saying is not conducive to reality. Even back, like I said, 2018, 2019, when she was talking about running for president, I sat on the phone with her and took notes for her. Like I should have, and she knew my background, so she knew I would know enough about it because I work in politics so much, and I have a background in public relations and journalism and all that stuff. So she knew that she had the right person, but I should have told her right from the bat. This is nuts. There's no way you're not running for president. And if you think this no-name person out of nowhere is going to come and run against Trump and win, if Hillary couldn't win, you're definitely not going to win on your platform of
she
kookery.
Served any office, even on a local city council level.
Right. And I told her that's the one part I was honest with her about. I said, well, if you really want to get into this realm, where you need to start is at your local office. You start in your local community. Oh no, I don't want to start there. I want to start at the top. And I'm like, okay, well, good luck with you. And the one thing I did say, I said, well, this is how much I would charge to be your publicist and to be your campaign manager. And she's like, okay, that's not a problem. I'll come up with all the money. And I was like, this is not going to happen. But if I knew today if I knew then what I know now, I should have told her, this is ridiculous. Like, you're drunk? And I think I asked her, are you drinking? And she said, no, I'm completely sober. And she is the one, that is the one thing I will have to say. And I'm not sure if you can corroborate it with me, but she is the one person I've ever seen in my entire life that unless you actually know her and you know her behavior when she's drinking, can fake being sober better than anybody I've ever known. Because I have talked to people that are like, oh, no, she's not drunk. And I'm like, she's drunk as a skunk. And they're like, no, she's completely with it. Like, the way she spoke and everything was more like very consistent, very, she slows her words.
I don't think I've ever heard her slur her words.
She slows her words. So she sounds very clear and coherent. She does not speak fast, and I think she does that deliberately so she doesn't slur. She brings it back. I mean, she is the most sober drunk I've ever met in my life. And, I mean, even when she was here for the week that she was here, my mom was like, well, she wasn't drinking when she was here. I said, no, she drank 3 175s in a week while she was here. 3 big old bottles of vodka while she was here. And she's like, no, she was like sober the whole time. And our friend had came over. A couple other friends spent time with her. And they all thought the same thing, that the drink that they had poured when she was here was the only drink she had had. And I'm like, no, she was 3 sheets to the wind the entire time. And they're like, no way. She appeared totally, she had a whole intellectual conversation on psychology with our friend. And I mean, it was actually a really good conversation. It should have been recorded. It was a really good debate conversation. And she was drunker than a skunk. She was definitely not sober. And he's like, she wasn't? I said, no, she was not. And that's why she has probably talked herself out of so many things, law enforcement wise, ticket wise. She has talked her way out of it. I've never seen anyone drunk like that threatened somebody at their house. Cops are called, lied to 911 that she was being raped by 5 men. And the police show up, have a conversation with him and determine he did not threaten her. Okay. And determine that she's intoxicated and something else is going on. And instead of taking her to jail or taking her for threatening him with a weapon, even though she didn't have the physical weapon, she said she was going to shoot him. Instead of taking her to jail for those actions, they packaged her up in the car with her dog and took her down to a hotel where her parents were and hand delivered her to them. And I'm like, who does this? I mean, nobody does that.
Her luck is going to run out.
Oh, well, it has, because she's been arrested 3 times. So it definitely has run out. But this time was after already being arrested 3 times. And now that she's not appearing to any of her court dates, she's starting to get warrants for non-appearance. and it's just going to get worse. It's not going to get better. I mean, I don't know if she got smart about it and she's Ubering instead of driving her cars, or whether she's wrecked her cars again. We have no idea. I don't know. I pray for her every day, and I always will. And I am a background cheerleader. I want her to get better, but I don't know that if she even does, if I could ever go back to a friendship with her. I don't know. I think she's broken a lot with me. I don't know that forgiveness is in my heart. Like, I feel like I can forgive you, but I don't think I could forget and go back. I don't know that the hurt she's caused can be healed.
I secretly hope that she calls someone
Yeah.
and says, I can't do this anymore. I just help me.
I hope for that too. And I mean, I think if she called, I wouldn't answer the phone. But if she replied back with a text, I need help, I probably would jump in to help her, get her into a treatment or get her into something. But I would do it through contacting her family to get them to do it. I don't think I could. I wouldn't have it in me right now to call her back. I don't know.
Well,
I can't say that.
Call
I can't say that because
2 weeks ago.
Oh, she did. Did you tell me that?
Well, remember?
Oh, yeah, you did.
She left a voicemail.
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that she was having another worst day of her life.
Oh, that was a little longer than 2 weeks ago, but okay.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You came here.
You
You came.
that I was there.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it was before you came, but I do remember that. And then she proceeded to cuss you out for being the worst
I was the best. No, I was the best friend she didn't
ever need.
know she needed. And then call me back, Donna Wilson. And of course, this is at 11:30, almost midnight. I didn't hear the phone ring. This message is the message that I listened to when I woke up. But after she left that message, she sent multiple text messages
Cussing you
about
out.
having sex. No. About having sex with a billionaire and a millionaire.
Yeah, that was the one.
And
I gotta go
then
fuck a
going
billionaire
to
right
them.
now. Bye.
Yes. So
Love you. Bye. Yeah.
I'm
It was like,
sitting here thinking, not reading the text, but hearing the message that's the call that I'm hoping to get.
right.
Help me! I need your help.
Followed
What,
up by
to figure out to fuck a millionaire or a billionaire.
yeah,
Because you're gonna teach them what? Huh?
yoga. Because she's gonna start a yoga studio, probably. You've heard of goat. You've heard of goat yoga. Hers is sex yoga. But the thing is it's always short lived. Like when she calls, she has called me many times in the middle of the night. I need help or I need you. And then it's some delusional thing that she wants me to listen to and yes her to death. And then is the minute you say anything like, well, are you drinking? Or, you need to get help. What help? What help do I need? I don't need any help. I'm fine.
If I want to have a cocktail, I can have a cocktail.
Yeah. And I love how she calls a gallon of vodka a cocktail.
When I would see her with her water bottles, her flask, or the Stanley cups.
Yeah.
I feel I looked at her the way that people looked at me.
Yeah.
Wondering, is that really because when she was living with me, she would make it a point because I don't want alcohol around me. at all. And she would make it a point if she had a cup on the counter, she would say to me, don't take a drink of this. And then I knew.
Yeah. Well, and that I have to give her, like, if I grabbed her water bottle and said, "Oh, I'm thirsty, she'd tell me, "Don't drink out of that one. You don't want that one. That's not going to quench your thirst." But I also got into a habit. I don't know if you've ever done this, but I've gotten into a habit where when we would be apart just enough to where she couldn't see if she had a water bottle, I didn't even care what was in it. I would just open it up and dump half of it out or dump a lot of it out. And then put the lid back on and put it away because I didn't want her to drink it. But if you actually told her, you need to not drink that or you shouldn't have that, it would become a big fight. And that's when you knew it was really bad.
Yeah, I have stories about bottles.
Yeah. And then, even when she left you and left there, you found bottles hidden in your house.
Yeah, I did.
And that made it really, really difficult, because you didn't want it around you. Plus, you can't have it there right now.
She at first set it in the trunk, and then that became.
You froze up.
She brought it in the house.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's really a shame. And again, like I said, anybody who's going through this with a family member or a friend, one, you have a friend in us. You can come and talk to us. We can always be in your corner, and we will put you in our prayers. We'll put your family member in our prayers. We will always be in your corner, just like we're still in her corner. We just have had to learn where we had to put ourselves. And I had to put my family and my serenity and my life had to take precedence because I wasn't saving her. You've said it. Everyone out there will say it. You can't save them. They have to save themselves. And I worry about what her bottom is because I've seen several things that I thought for sure that would be her bottom. Living in a homeless camp, I thought absolutely has got to be her bottom. And it wasn't, and it isn't, and it hasn't. So what's going to be her bottom? I don't know. But I also think part of that problem with her bottom death will be her bottom.
Death is going to be her bottom.
And the problem also is that there's too many people, in my opinion, that are still playing this game with her when she tells them, "Oh, I'm doing good and I'm doing this and I'm doing that." And they're like, "Oh, that's wonderful." They'll tell other people that this is what she's doing and it's nuts, but they will pretend with her that, "Oh, that sounds like a great idea. I think you should totally buy that big building that you can't afford. I think you should totally buy that and do that." There's a little bit of cognizant going on, like, how are you going to pay for that? But sounds like a great idea. Like, maybe that's not a great idea and you don't have any money to pay for it. So I think she still has a little too much yes going on. Obviously there's always going to be people that want, and family, it's always, I think, a little harder because that's their child or parent or mother or brother or sister or father or uncle or aunt or whatever, that the people want them so desperately to be saved that they believe if I just play this game with them, they will wake up and get the help they need. And that's not reality, unfortunately. And because of the...
Go
ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is that because she has been by
by herself,
meaning no one
can tell her what to do.
She
She
can
can
drink
drink and drink and drink and drink and drink
and then
and then drink some more.
And whatever other drugs she might be doing.
And the damage that is causing her body is going to be so much harder to recover from.
Yeah. Well, they say it takes twice as long as you've done it to repair it. And that means she would have to be over 100 years old to be healthy again. Because she doesn't have 52 years to heal. Yes, you could heal in a couple of years. I'm sure your liver is way better now than it probably was then. But, our bodies can heal themselves, but it depends on how much damage you have done to your body. And I don't think you did nearly as much damage to your body as she has done to hers.
No.
She looks emaciated. Her skin looks like it's literally just
jaundice. She has jaundice.
Yeah, and which is from liver disease. She has a fatty liver. Her skin literally looks like it's hanging on a skeleton, and she thinks she looks amazing. And no, she did when we were holed up in the cabin. She did walk by a mirror one time and say, "Oh my God, I look like a homeless crackhead." And I'm like, "Yeah, you do."
Good morning, Diana.
Oh, okay. I didn't see the comment there.
It just popped up.
Oh.
So Diana was actually part of my story with my first DUI. Yeah, she's from Tahoe.
Oh, okay.
And I love her dearly. Yeah. She helped with my first one.
There's so many people from Tahoe that know our story. And, we've grown up with so many people from there. And, I went back and thought about some other people that were from there. Like Frank Vanix, he owned the Polaris in Tahoe, where they sold snowmobiles and stuff. And he was an amazing guy. He was a really, really cool guy. Worked with my dad a lot. We called him Red because he had red hair. But he was a bad alcoholic, and he ended up dying from it after he had gotten sober. But it killed him anyway because of his kidneys and liver and stuff like that. And and he was a longtime Tahoe guy, and his wife was a nurse at Barton Hospital and a good friend of my dad. And, there's so many people from Tahoe that I hate to say it, but there's an awful lot of people who have gotten into addiction from Tahoe, an awful lot. And I have to say, it was a cool place to grow up, and it was a really neat place, and it's a beautiful place, but there wasn't a lot for us to do as kids other than party. Unfortunately, it was just one of those things. But, we have gone a little bit over our time because we were having such a good Monday conversation. Diana says, my nephew just got out of rehab and I'm helping him. He's 3 months sober so far. Awesome. That is so awesome. Congratulations. Those are wins every time,
Absolutely.
Every day becomes a week. Every week becomes a month, and every month becomes a year. So as the time continues and with proper support and help, you can, because now that you have gone through it, and your nephew, I'm sure, will end up in the same boat. Now that you've gone through this, now like if you're having concerns, that you can count on me to call me and talk to me and say, hey, I really want to have a drink tonight, and talk through it. We had this discussion when you were here, actually.
Yeah.
And when the conversation started with, I think one day I might want to have a drink. I just listened and I let you talk through it. And by the time the conversation got to the end of that little conversation, you had already talked yourself out of it, which was a beautiful thing because you're like,
I'm completely aware.
Yeah.
Because being sober one day was a miracle for me at one point in my life.
Right.
Then became two.
Yeah.
How many times I had to start back at day one? Is that one time that I want maybe a drink in the future worth all of that throwing it away? No. Right now? No.
But at the time you were like, you wanted to convince yourself by convincing me that it would be okay. And as you talked through it with me, I watched you talking yourself to the point of, well, we could go, but I could have a virgin, and it went from, I think one day I might be capable to, no, you know what? I don't need to throw all this away for that. And I watched you talk yourself through the process and why it wouldn't be a good decision. Whereas I think that if I had just said, Donna, that's a bad choice, I think we as humans would step back and, well, how do you know I can't handle it? And instead of just listening and going through things with you, not placating you, but going through it with you, you talked yourself out of it before it was ever turned into something. And I was extremely proud of you for that because I imagine how hard that could be. But I also had to think about how my reaction needed to be at that moment, because I think sometimes we just, as human nature, we have the innate need to defend ourselves and defend our position and defend our thoughts and defend. So if I had came at you with judgment and being divisive and saying, Donna, that would be a bad decision. You can't do that. You're not capable. You're not strong enough. I think human nature in us, you would have gone to a place of defense.
You know what? I appreciate you breaking it down like this because that could have, if I wasn't strong enough, I could have been defensive, just like you said. And I was a closet drinker.
Mm-hmm.
So that could have made me feel.
Oh, tell me I can't.
Now I know I can't drink around Tori.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, I think we as supports for those people going through that, there has to be a way of communicating. And a lot of that communicating is just listening. Sometimes you don't need to say anything except for be there as an ear to listen and let them maybe ask questions. I did. I asked questions. I said, well, like, what would the drink be that you'd want to have? And if you did, you should just do it with me. I did that on purpose to get you to think about it without judging and saying, well, you can't do that. You're throwing everything away. If you do that, give me that coin back I gave. I didn't do any of that could have made you, because we automatically go into this mindset of, oh, show me I can't. Tell me I can't. I'm going to show you I can. And that's on building something, building a business, making a box out of wood. And for an alcoholic, drinking and being in control of it. And if you tell me I can't do something, I want innately in our minds, we want to prove you wrong because you just judged me. You just came down on me and you just judged me. And I think sometimes our communications with the person that needs it the most needs to come in the communication of listening, because I think so often we try to hear ourselves talk and we want to be right, that we fail to listen to the person that actually just needs to talk themselves, and they need to have somebody that genuinely listens. And my saying the things I said was not placating you. It was invoking you to think more through it, which you did. You did exactly that. And I didn't say hardly anything. I only said a couple of things.
Well, as I had said in a previous conversation, that like having a driver's license,
Mm-hmm.
drinking is a privilege for me. And I abused my privilege.
Right. And you think
So
about,
having
you want to keep
one
that
drink
license now.
one drink too many for me.
Right. And
What
now
was that?
you want to keep that license. You want to keep those things that that give you that sense of accomplishment, that reality of look what I have done, not what I could do, but what I have done. Because the things that you have done, the reality is there are, we lost, there she
I
is.
had a call.
There are thousands of Donnas out there that have not done what you've done.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I think this might mean that it's time for us to to go. I'm going to remove you, and then I'm going to add you. Can you hear me now? Nope, that cut it off.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I had an incoming call. I can't hear you. Okay, well, I'm going to sign off.
All right, I'm going to end the show and say your goodbyes.
Thank you for everybody who's listened. If you can hear me and watched. I love you.
Love you too. And we will see you soon. And thank you everybody who was listening. And we will be back tomorrow morning, and we will have more to discuss tomorrow about everything that's going on. And as always, you can listen to the whole song, or you can listen to part of the song, or whatever you'd like to do. But we're going to end, as always, with our song that I wrote for our dear friend. And maybe this will have some light on yourself as well. I don't know why it's not playing. I'm not hearing anything.
We were close, but drifted so far apart. Once bright eyes, I'm now lost in the dark, trying to reach you, but you're fading, following deeper, shadows invading. How can I pull you back? My friend, friends for 50 years, can we make it to 52? Oh, no, now since you went down to the tracks, now I can't bottle in your hand. In the shadows, through the tears we shed. In the shadows, tears we shed, 'cause we